morning. So today we're gonna spice it up a little bit. We're gonna gather all the information that we got from the last two sequences. We're not gonna think about it. We're just gonna allow all this to be there while we do our practice today. So we're gonna start the same way we have been starting in this sequence. So instead of starting in Shavasana, we go down to the ground, but we bend the legs, and we'll start in this position. Feel the pelvis rooting down, so the lower back gets closer to the ground. Feel all the space, the big surface of the shoulder blades and the space in between the shoulder blades flat on the ground. And then feel the heaviness of your head, of your skull, resting on the ground as well. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And let's do this, sending the senses inwards for Pratyahara, observing only the information that comes from within. Touching, tasting, smelling, seeing, hearing, whatever is going on within. There is actually something really pleasant about drawing the senses inward. Because also it takes you out of your mind and into your body. Beautiful. Let's turn to the side in fetal position. We're going to position the thighs totally perpendicular to the mat. And we're going to work on the mobility in the SI joint, sacroiliac joint, by simply sliding the upper leg back and forth. Good, stop the movement, and now the upper hip up and down. But here the leg is not sliding. Yeah? Nice, roll to your back. And then fetal position on the other side. The position of the thighs is perpendicular to your mat. And then start sliding the upper leg back and forth. The movement starts here in this joint that grabs the sacrum with the iliac, which is this bone, this big bone. Up and down. mat. Flat pelvis. Good. Now cross the right ankle on top of the left knee. Move the right knee away, creating a lot of space for the hip joint and the frontal part of the iliac crest. Great. And then the idea is to send the pelvis up in half Setu Bandhasana, engaging the pelvic floor, the abdomen, the thighs, and the glutes. But we don't want this knee too close. We want to keep the knee down towards the ground so the hip remains open. Feel the engagement of the pelvic floor. Mula Bandha. We know that this word we already know with that. Mula Bandha. Beautiful. Now roll the pelvis down, and then the right leg goes towards the chest, grabbing either from under the thigh or on top of the shin bone, and then sending this left knee closer to the heart, dropping the shoulders, and breathing wherever that's needed, probably somewhere in your groin or hip joint, or even around the sacrum. Good, the foot goes to the ground, the leg crosses over completely so the thighs are touching, arms to the side, knees to the left, head to the right. And then knees to the right, head to the left. Good, knees up, change the legs. So now is the left ankle crossing on the right knee, the left knee moving away. So there is a lot of space in your hip joint and around the front side of your iliac crest. Good. Arms alongside the body. Mula Bandha. Whoop. Up. So there is a constant effort to send the left knee farther down towards the ground, so it keeps the pelvis open, and at the same time you feel all the muscles wrapping the pelvis, keeping it stable. We've worked with the stability of the pelvis in the last sequence, so you already know what it's about. But then, there has to be mobility as well. We will work with this today. Beautiful. Let's go down. Right thigh in, either from under the thigh or on top of your shin bone. You grab with your hands, pulling the leg towards the knee, pulling the leg towards the chest. Sorry, sometimes I just lose my words. And then drop the shoulders and feel the breath. That happens also in my language. It's just my brain goes faster than my mouth. Beautiful. Now, foot down to the ground, cross the legs, and then knees to the left, head to the right. And now knees to the right, head to the left. And then legs up and cross. And let's go for rocking. 4 or 5 before you sit up. Good. Crossing the legs, changing the crossing of the legs, positioning the pelvis, lengthening the spine, softening the shoulders, the elbows, the hands. And then today simply feeling the movement of the breath, rooted from the pelvis, supported with the ground. Beautiful. Now, interlace the fingers, bring the arms up, 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 up. Lengthen, create a lot of space. And then to the right. And to the left. And up. Beautiful. Yoga Mudra once more, left hand grabbing the right wrist and fall. Transition to all fours. Find the center of the mat, wrists under the shoulders, knees below the hips. Inhale, arch, and exhale, round. Arching and rounding with your breath, creating movement. The pelvis is mobile. It has a lot of mobility. Beautiful. Hug the toes, bring the hands farther, exhale, Adho Mukha. Push with your hands, lengthen the spine, roll the shoulders out. Let's infuse a little bit of energy into the sacrum and pelvis. So inhale through the spine until you reach the pelvis and exhale there, all the energy spreading inside the pelvis. And then inhale in your sacrum and move towards your head, exhale. Inhale, head to sacrum, exhale in your pelvis. Inhale in your sacrum, collect the breath there, and then exhale through the spine. Once more. Inhale, head to sacrum. Exhale, spreading the energy through the pelvis. Inhale in the sacrum, collect, and exhale all the way to the head. Once more. Inhale, head, pelvis. Exhale, spread the energy through the pelvis. Inhale, collect it in the sacrum. Exhale, move towards the head. Beautiful. Now, let's do a small Karana here. Inhale, go to plank. And then exhale, knees chest chin. Inhale, baby cobra. And then exhale, rounding the spine, back to Adho Mukha. Inhale, round the spine for plank. And then exhale, knees chest chin. Inhale, baby cobra, push with the pubic bone down. And then exhale, rounding the spine to Adho Mukha. Inhale, round the spine to plank. Exhale, knees chest chin. Inhale, cobra, engage the pelvic floor. Exhale, round the spine to Adho Mukha. Inhale, round the spine to plank. Exhale, knees chest chin. Inhale, cobra, engage Mula Bandha. Exhale, round the spine to Adho Mukha. Beautiful. Now knees down to the ground. Dorsum of the feet on the ground. Keep the hands where they are, but seat as far back as you can. And then cup the fingers, roll the shoulders out, and drop the head. Feel a lot of space, not only in your spine, but also in your pelvis. Good. Let's go back to Adho Mukha and then into plank. Pull the heels back. Feel the strong line, the really strong line, stable line from the heels to the top of the head, and the pelvis in the middle, really stable. And now, most of you will be able to simply, let's keep the distance between feet today. So we're going to do a side plank, but keeping the distance between feet. So when you turn, you actually have the feet like this, and then left arm up. Some of you will find this too difficult and bring the back leg down. Stable pelvis, keep it in line with the shoulders and the feet. Back to plank. Keep the distance distance in between feet, so you can turn to the side. And then up. Some of you will bring the left foot down, the left knee down, and the rest will stay here with a stable pelvis in line with shoulders and feet. Hand down, back to plank, and then Adho Mukha. Push with your hands, lengthen the spine, and now you can either jump or walk, hop. Good. Uttanasana. Slide bend on your knees, really slide bend on your knees. So you don't want to be bending the legs a lot. It's just a slide bend so there is no tension, unnecessary tension. And also, that slide bend allows for the pelvis to roll more. Good. Now feel the heels connected to the sitting bones and breathe in a way that you move the breath from the heels to the sitting bones, creating some lengthening, some elasticity so the sitting bones move up, and then feel the connection sacrum head through the spine and moving the breath in that direction. Inhale and then exhale. Now let's roll up, inhale. Arms up, interlace the fingers. Lengthen as much as you can, send the fingertips up. And then move to the side, arms to the right, pelvis to the left. And then other side, arms to the left, pelvis to the right. And then up. Keep the upward movement while sitting for Utkatasana. Keep the hands exactly like this. Make sure your lower back is long, engaging the pelvic floor, lower abdomen, and allowing for a free flow of breath and a free movement of breath in your rib cage. All the way down. Keep the fingers, keep the hands. Inhale, lengthen. All the way up, all the way up. Good. And then bring the arms down. Beautiful. Stay here. Give yourself a couple breaths or 3 in Tadasana. My pelvis feels so different after the work we've been doing these days. Great. Let's go for balancing postures. We're going to play with 2 different postures. It's a combination that we've done before, and I want to do it again today because it's a combination in which, in the first posture, we will work with the pelvis axe in this position, and then in the second one, we work with the pelvis axe in this position. Yeah. So that's what we change, the position of the axe. Let's do it. We're going to do these fingers. I like them. Today we're going to do these fingers. Good. And then let's go. First, the axe of the pelvis is totally parallel to the ground. Parallel to the ground. Good, and then the left hand goes down to the ground, the right hand goes on the sacrum, and then the axe of the pelvis is perpendicular to the ground. Good, and then the right arm goes up. The weight of the body is resting solely on your left foot, on the foot on the ground. There is no weight on the hand. The hand is free to move. It's just there to keep you, help the balance, to help you keep the balance. hold weight. The weight belongs to the foot. Good. And then the hand goes down, the foot goes down, roll up, inhale, Tadasana, exhale. Great. Arms up. Interlace the fingers, except the indexes, pull the arms up. Then the left leg goes back, or the other leg, the one you need to do now. And then let's do it. The axe of the pelvis axe, it's parallel to the ground. Totally parallel to the ground. Then, the right hand goes down, left hand goes on the sacrum, and then we change the organization of the axe, so it changes to a vertical position instead of horizontal. Remember, the foot is the one receiving the weight of the body, 100% of it, and then maybe left arm up. Hand remains free to help you in case you lose your balance. Good. Let's undo the posture. Fall down, roll up, inhale, exhale. Ah, beautiful. Feel the breath. Feel your pelvis. And now spread the legs, but like the other day, we will start with a not so wide stance. Good. Inhale, arms up. Let's find this vertical movement. It's an upward movement, and then heels in, bend the legs, go to your toes, and now the pelvis moves down and the fingertips move up. Make sure that your pelvis is happy and stable. The lower back is super happy. Inhale, stretch the legs, bring the arms down, and now both feet turn towards the left, but towards the right. But today we're going to bring the right foot a little bit farther to the right, to create more space, yeah? So the pelvis has more space. That's what we want today. And then maybe bring the back foot a little bit closer. I feel it's too wide. Good. Roll the pelvis, lengthening the lower back. Inhale, arms up. Let's go for this grip, crossing the fingers, except the indexes, and then moving as far as you can, far, until the fingers touch down, and then fold. Now the left hand on the ground, you will start by bending the right knee a little bit, and then open the chest to the right and open the right arm up. Now, slowly stretching this right leg, sending the right hip back, the left hip forward. Bring the hand down. Inhale, front foot bend, arms up. Good, and then exhale, arms down. Let's do it again. Heels in, arms up. Bend the legs, heels up. Then 2 movements. arms down, both feet towards the left foot moving more to the left, so there is space for the pelvis. Roll the pelvis, maybe the back foot a little bit closer. Roll the pelvis, inhale, arms up, interlace the fingers except the indexes, and then go as far as you can. And fold. Right hand inside of your left foot, bending the left leg a little bit, opening the chest to the left, left arm up, and now maybe you can try to stretch the left leg and send the left hip back. Bring the arm down, interlace the fingers, whoop, all the way up. Beautiful, arms down, feet parallel again. This time, spread them a little bit more, spread them a little bit more, and let's do it again. Heels in, arms up. You see, now the stance is wider, yeah? But bend the knees, heels up. Happy pelvis. Lower back. Now see if you can engage the pelvic floor. See if you can do a little bit of a mula bandha here. Not easy. Good. Stretch the legs, bring the arms down, both feet to the right, but this time the back heel off the ground, so the pelvis is completely square, even though there is a lot of distance in between feet. Back heel up, and the toes of the back foot pointing to the front. Yes. Now bend the front leg and let the pelvis be heavy, keeping the back leg straight, Good. We're gonna go for a spinal twist, hands together, and then left elbow outside of the right thigh. And now try to bring the sternum where the hands are and look up. Beautiful, arms up. Good, and let's go back to the center. Heels in. Let's do it again. Bending, heels up. Stable pelvis. Happy lower back. Easy breath. Stretch the legs. Both feet turning towards the left, and then the back foot with the heel off the ground, bending the front leg, keeping the back leg straight, making sure that the lower back is happy, and then hands together, right elbow outside of the left thigh. Now the sternum moving towards the hands in a spinal twist. Good. Inhale, arms up. And then bring the hands down, back to Adho Mukha. Bend the knees, so you can roll the pelvis, lengthening and rounding, arching and rounding the spine, just a few times. Now find the position for the pelvis and stretch the legs a little bit more, push with your hands, lengthen the spine. Inhale, plank, and exhale, knees, chest, chin, and then all the way down to the ground. Beautiful. Good. Try to close the space, the gap under your groins. Push with the pubic bone against the ground. Bend the legs. Grab the feet or the ankles. Try to keep the knees together. Now again, pubic bone against the ground. Inhale up. Beautiful. Great. And now turn to the side. Lay in a fetal position again. With the thighs perpendicular to your mat. And then we're going to open in a spinal twist. Sending the arm towards on the ground, circling over the head, and the head that looks at the hand. Until it gets to the other side, and then the right hand goes on top of the left knee. Reposition your chest so you can flatten the left shoulder to the ground and turn the head more towards the hand. And you stay here. Nice and soft. And then one thing that you could observe here today, it is, are your knees in line, or do you have the upper knee more to the left, the lower knee more to the right? Just observe it, don't judge it, just see what it is. And then a second question would be, can I do this posture with my pelvis feeling comfortable, 100% comfortable? For today's purpose, the answer should be yes. If the answer to the question is no, change something. Maybe lowering the legs more. That could be something to change. Or you can come up with something else, because remember that you are here to explore. And then, as always in this type of postures, that we have the ground supporting the body, you can easily feel how the posture opens, because it's easier to surrender, to let go. And then we can realize that the natural tendency of the body is openness. Yeah. Great. Let me up, the pelvis follows, and then change. Go into fetal position on the other side. Roll the arm, look at this arm that opens. Good. And then if your knees are apart now, you could bring the left hand on top of the right knee and then turn the head towards the right, unless you are doing the other side. And then ask yourself again, at least the second question. Is my pelvis 100% comfortable? And then today, for the purpose of the practice, if the answer is no, change whatever you need to change for this to happen. For the pelvis to be 100% comfortable. And then feel how the support of the ground, helps you let go, surrender more than in other postures. And then the fact that you don't have to hold the ground and you can soften, hold the weight of the body, and you can soften, it actually gives you that space to realize that the body tends to open. everybody's happy again. And then knees touching each other, one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Simply feel the body resting, no tensions whatsoever, because they are all already in the ground. Let them go. And then there is a nice and pleasant and yummy rocking motion of the breath. And you stay here for as long as you want. Or you lay down in your regular Shavasana. Or you sit up in meditation posture. Om Satchitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatama Shri Bhagavate Samhita Shri Bhagavate Namaha Hari Om Tat Sat. 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 Namaste. Thanks for your practice.